There's a plague that's manifesting our drinking water, our food, our bodies, our environment, and it even affects our economy. It's invisible to the majority of the world, and eventually it's going to be irreversible. Today, I'll tell you what you can do to slow down this catastrophe. The level of plastic pollution that enters our ocean is unprecedented. It's beyond reprieve and incredibly dangerous. Since plastic materials have become a staple in everybody's life, it's almost impossible for this not to be the case. Now, according to a study in the journal Science in 2015, up to 12.7 million metric tons worth of plastic enters the ocean every year. Imagine 136 billion milk jugs being thrown into your backyard every single year. That is every year. That is the scale of this pollution. Now, as an eco-friendly millennial, you can say, I worry about the wildlife, I worry about the environment, everything else. But, what about the economic loss? What about the impact on humans? Even if you don't care about the environment, us as a species, we have to do something about this before it's too late. The buildup in plastic, in combination with the chemical pollution that actually follows this, is one of the greatest threats of our time. And if we continue to allow this to happen, the next generations to come will be paying dearly for our mistakes. Now, it's extremely easy to neglect plastics. 90% of the plastic items in our daily lives are only used once, and then they're thrown into the garbage. That's straws, forks, lids, cups. The problem that this poses is that plastic is extremely durable and it doesn't biodegrade. And plastic materials, it can take them about 1,000 years or longer in order to dissipate into an environment. Each year, we can say at least 20 billion plastic bottles are tossed into the trash. Now, there's a scholarly article from the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences that I found, and this kind of shows us the main way that plastic litter gets into the oceans. It's basically through stormwater runoff. Around 50% of plastics produced are buoyant, and therefore it floats on the surface. But the bigger issue is the 50% that sinks and that we cannot actually see on the surface level. Therefore, it moves through currents, and unfortunately, it's mainly out of sight and out of mind. Now, another thing is, according to the National Resource Defense Council and the Marine Debris Program, is the ocean is basically becoming a garbage soup. Everything is just kind of meshing together, and basically the debris can smash, spread, and choke marine life, and therefore destroying our habitats and our beaches. One of the bigger problems, though, is that the plastic chemicals leach into our water, and not only the marine animals that we eat. This is humans. Saltwater absorbs and breaks down PCBs, DDT, PAH, and BPA. It's not an issue for coastal areas only where inhabitants are exposed to the water, but species as small as polyps and other coral reefs that basically support the entire ocean ecosystem are affected. With larger sea animals mistaking these plastics for food, it creates a top-to-bottom contamination. As I said, it can be as small as the polyps, but then also large whales that are ingesting small things such as shrimp, plankton, and whatnot are affected. Now, according to the Center for Biological Diversity, the effects aren't just felt by the marine life, but the plastics are linked to endocrine disruptions and cancer-causing mutations in humans. Now, one of the things that it usually takes to drive social change is if it causes an economic problem. Now, this is huge. It causes a huge economic problem. Mainly, but not only limited to, is the tourism in coastal locations, because that's the mainstay of the economy. With plastic covering all the beaches and making it disgusting, who is going to want to come there? I have specific examples of being in Delray Beach after a storm. I'm on the ocean, and there's just so much plastic that covers the beach. And basically, people don't even want to hang out. They've said it's disgusting. They said it's terrible. The other thing is that coastal fisheries rely on the ocean to make their money. And we, don't want these people to lose their jobs because people think that the fish are too disgusting to eat. It's mainly the local economies and governments that are left with the bill to clean up this stuff. Another grave impact is on the health insurance system. If people are getting sick from these plastics and stuff, it creates further health issues, and therefore the already fragile system that is supposed to support them and help us be healthy is, going to need more care and more attention. According to the UN News Center, they had an article in 2014 that says all these factors combined cause about $13 billion in financial damage at least. So what can you do as an individual to help slow down the issue of plastics in the ocean? You can wean yourself off of disposable plastic items. Although cutting plastic out is nearly impossible in this day and age because it's such a facet, you can do small things like bring your own bag to the grocery store or have a reusable water bottle, just like this one. Single-serving plastic wraps and packaging are, extremely inefficient. So if you can, maybe go to Costco, buy things in bulk. Another huge thing is the microbeads in soaps and other body washes. We don't necessarily see these things going in, but once all of that soap or toothpaste disappears, the only thing that's left are these tiny, tiny, minuscule things that then go into our environment. One of the things that might slip through the cracks, because it seems like an obvious thing to do, is recycle. It's estimated that only 14% of plastic packaging is recycled. So having a separate bin in your house will prompt you to remember to go ahead and recycle these plastics. Lastly, advocate. If you see something, say something. In the age of social media, that's one way to get corporations and other governmental structures to do something. If enough people act out and they have an opinion on it, then it's actually worth something to them. Picture a world where your children can't even go to the beach without stepping on plastic waste. You can't even get a spicy tuna roll because the fish are so sick. The ocean is 2/3 of our planet, and we really need to protect this before it's being permanently damaged. Whether it's the environmental, health, or economic impacts, we're all touched in some way, and we need to do something about this.